All right, I'm starting under the car because this is a pain in the ass, but here's the deal. I had to drop one of the batteries just to confirm some stuff, but one of these goes straight to this, well, no, sorry, the fuse is for the inverter. One of those positives from the battery comes over here, comes to this box, and lands on this side of this solenoid. This is the starter solenoid. So normally there was a wire that attached to here. They went to the starter and well, the starter battery. And normally when you start the car, I guess this switches the solenoid on and lets the battery, the power from the starter battery go through and into the other battery to charge these. But that's dangerous with lithium ion, with lithium phosphate, so iron phosphate. So this is the thing that I added. It's called an Orion XS. Everything is Victron. So basically this has an input and an output, and it controls the amount of amperage that can go into the batteries. So we're bypassing this solenoid here totally. We don't need this anymore. And so the input right here, this wire was the one that used to attach to here. So this comes from the starter battery. I've got it all wire loomed up now too, so you can't really see what the wires are. But this one came from the starter battery, and then I put another wire here that comes from this, and it goes to this terminal here. So I'm just using this as a stud to keep everything attached because there's like a few other things attached to that. So this is basically just like a stud block now. It's not being used as a solenoid, it's just to attach things. So that's working. So if I start the car, I can see this is waterproof, by the way. It's IP65 rated, so it can be outside. I still have to do I have to tape a couple things. This is just the ground. And then I have to put this box back on to cover all this up. Okay, so I have to come back down here, but let me crawl out from under. Okay, so that's the DC to DC converter. So if you start the car up, it detects the voltage coming in from the alternator, and if it's above a certain threshold, it'll allow a certain amount of power to go to the batteries to charge them. The other thing, there's 3 more things. So on this side, so I added this, I swapped this out, and I added this. This is the charge controller, so I guess we'll just start here. So the old charge controller was here. I basically just extended the wires that were inside of here and made it so they come up through here, through this hole. This is simple. It just has battery input and then the solar panel input. And this is a 440 watt MPPT charge controller, 30 amp. So yeah, it's just monitoring the solar panel voltage, and if the batteries need to be charged or if they need to be float charged or bulk or absorption charged or whatever, it knows how to do that based on the type of battery. So lithium batteries, lithium iron phosphate, obviously. So that's running great. So this swap out was basically just to make sure that we have a more efficient charge controller. This one will probably get us 20-30% more power out of the solar panels. It wasn't 100% necessary, but it's way nice. Oh, also, you can now view on the app, you can see like exactly how much power it's generating as opposed to the other one, which was total shit. I mean, look how big this one is compared to this was the goofy little garbage thing, whatever. So that thing was a piece of shit, but I'll make a plate. I'll 3D print a plate to cover this up. Okay, so these are the critical things. Well, more critical. Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, so this is the converter. This takes AC power, so if you're plugged into shore power or if the generator's running, and converts it to 12 volt, and also charges the battery when you're plugged into shore power, right? So this will output power 12 volt so that the battery can be charged. The old one of this did not have lithium ion capabilities, so it would never actually fully charge the batteries if you're plugged into shore power. It could get close, like this little dongle thing, the old one. If you kept it in boost mode manually, it could get close to full charge, maybe like 80%. But it would never actually fully charge. So this one actually works with all the new types of batteries. And this is fucking stupid because there's no instructions on this. But in order to change the mode, you have this little tiny pin right here. I had to figure this out because like literally the instructions don't tell you how to do this, but there's this little like sim phone pin thing, and there's a tiny little hole right there, and you basically have to poke that in that tiny little hole, and it changes the color of the LED inside of this thing to the type of battery. So the blue is for lithium iron phosphate, and it's already set. You don't ever have to touch this again. And this thing is just always going to be set to automatic mode. There's nothing you have to do with this. So I'm hiding it inside of here so you'll never have to see it like blink or turn on or whatever. But yeah, you literally never have to touch this again as long as there's lithium iron phosphate batteries. So that's a good upgrade. So now shore power and generator can fully charge the batteries to 100%. And then this is critical. This takes any input 12 volt power. So there's 2 wires coming into this. It's really important that the input from this is all of the 12 volt that could ever possibly be used by the camper. So basically one of these is coming directly from the converter, and the other one is coming directly from the battery, the 12 volt batteries underneath the camper. So if you turn the camper batteries on, this will be powered, and it'll power through here just straight 12 volt from the batteries. And then if you have the inverter on, or sorry, if you have the shore power or the generator on, then the power will come through here. And then the output, this is a short output, and it just comes right to the 12 volt bus bar right here. So what this does is this essentially is a filter. It's monitoring all of the 12 volt power that's coming into the 12 volt bus here. And it can sense how much battery power there is. And what it'll do is it will totally shut off the 12 volt if the battery gets below a certain voltage. So I have it set to 10.8 volts, I think. So if the battery bank ever gets to 10.8 volts for 30 seconds, for longer than 30 seconds, it completely shuts off all the 12 volt battery and isolates your 12 volt batteries from anything. So they'll never discharge to the point where the BMS kicks on and locks you out, and then you'd have to like plug into shore power or jump the battery terminals somehow, right? So this is the key part it's called a smart battery protect. It also has all of these Victron things have Bluetooth, so if you download the app, you can see every single one of them, and they all show you all the stuff that you need. But yeah, everything's working great. I tested all of the different variations of stuff, plugged into shore power, turn the car on with the alternator on, turn the power off, have the house battery on, turn on the inverter, like every single combination of stuff, and everything is working perfectly. So yeah, I think the only next thing that you might want to do at some point is, if you wanted to, well, solar would be good, more solar. And then I don't think you need more than 400 amp hours of battery. So if you did want to upgrade the batteries, you could do 400 amp hours. And then the solar, I would do at least 400 watts for sure. But yeah, that's it.